Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of the Bachelorette. The hometown dates are here.
Yep.
Can you feel the excitement that's in the room for the hometown dates at the La Quinta, where you ride around in cardboard taxis?
I loved that. I'm not going to lie. They got very creative with some of that, and it was really intimate, and I liked it. I mean, I wish they could have gone to actual hometowns, but this was pretty creative.
I have a few notes, but beyond that, I think it was mostly fun, and I like all the guys that are left. There's really only maybe like one questionable family member that we got across the entire episode.
Yep.
That's a pretty good ratio for this show.
Yeah, it is. Usually there's more people that are come on that are like, I'm going to ask you the hard questions.
Yeah.
But there was a lot less of that. This was a lot more families really wanting the best for their kids and just wanting to know who they love.
You know what I think it is? I'll just say this. It's that you had to go through all of the protocol to be on the bubble. So if you were going to be the wild card of the family, you weren't going to go sit at the La Quinta for 5 days and like whatever the temperature is there.
Yeah, which looked very hot according to poor Ivan's forehead, that whole thing.
Gentlemen, this is the sweatiest date night in Bachelorette history.
It really is. I felt so bad for him. It is hot there.
We've got a lot to talk about, the hometown dates, the elimination, but before we dive right into it, kind of like how we saw Zach dive into that fountain.
Yep.
If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. We have more Bachelorette stuff coming in. The finale is just next week.
It's next week, guys, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and so you don't miss what we got coming up.
Also, in case you're wondering why I'm wearing yellow today, it's a bright, sunny shirt. It just came in today from the store. I'm
Yep.
excited about it. We have a link in the description. If you want to check out, we have shirts of all sorts of colors, mugs, phone cases, other cool things there. It's very comfy. I'm like moving around freely here. I'm raring to go with the hometown dates.
And you love yellow. It
I
looks
do
nice
love
on you.
yellow. I'm a yellow guy. Thank you very much. Now, okay, where do we begin here? Do we just start with the elimination?
Let's start with the elimination because it's probably a thing that most of us are going to be talking about, that we were all, screaming at our TVs like, just tell her, Ben. And it was really frustrating, and I could see it all over Tayshia's face too, that she was starting to get really frustrated. And I'm glad that she said something at the end where she was kind of like, I can't be in a relationship where every time I'm with somebody I have to try to pull something out of them. I understand that. That is a long life to be going through something like that, especially when it's at this point. But the thing is telling someone that you love them and telling them on TV and telling them when you know that she's dating 3 other guys, that's very, very intimidating. That is a tall order. So as much as I wanted him to just tell her, because it might have been the thing that turned the tide for them, if you just can't and you're not able to and you're not there, then he made the right choice and she made the right choice sending him home.
This is to kind of follow up on that. This is the rare example of me being like, you know what? I actually see both perspectives here. Like,
Yeah.
I can sit on the fence and not feel like a hypocrite or anything else for it, because
I'm right on the fence because
Yeah.
I see where she's coming from, where she's like, oh my goodness, like we've had all this time together. We're
Yeah.
at hometown dates and we're still after that date. He's just like, that she's
Yeah.
just like, oh, come on. Like, give me something. I totally get where she's coming from.
it's not ultimately Tayshia's job to get Ben to open up. Like, she's
Nope.
looking for a partner. I at the same time, yeah, my heart does break for Ben because he's clearly a guy who has gone through a lot. I think he struggles opening up to people
Yes.
and being very vulnerable. And I just don't think that this is the best environment for a guy like that. I think someone like Ben needs a lot of time, a lot of nurturing, a lot of just sort of understanding, and you're having to basically do the equivalent of like when Chris Harrison was running around the La Quinta earlier this season.
Yeah, this is like a speed relationship. And there's been actually, Ben is not the only guy. We also saw Riley last week kind of end up going home for sort of the same reason. And Blake. it's all just they're taking longer to get to where everybody seems to have to be so fast on this show. And these are just guys that move at a slower pace. They will get there, but not on this show. There isn't enough time. And that kind of stinks, because Ben seems like a really nice guy who felt like he really loved her. He just couldn't get there yet.
I do have to say, thumbs down on the wellness drink or whatever. Okay, Zach got to do like the bagel, the pizza, and he's like, here, have some charcoal in a glass.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, Ben, your best friend apparently is Antonia from Top Chef. Why do you not have Antonia just like make Tayshia some food or something? Like, she's already doing the biggest favor possible for you. Like, she actually has like a legitimately famous career, and she agreed to come down and do this.
Yeah, she did. Just
get some help here. Do the phone a friend. Like, don't be like, here, have some charcoal on my fake Venice beach. This was the weirdest hometown date.
It was the weirdest hometown date. I mean, all of it felt very awkward, and I think it's just Ben felt like he felt awkward, like he didn't know himself and where he was. I mean, someone else had to tell him you're in love for him to be like, maybe I am, because it feels almost like Ben doesn't trust himself of what he's feeling or what he's thinking. So he's always questioning himself, even to be able to tell her once he came to the realization. There's just a lot there that it seems that he is struggling with insecurity in himself.
How is the Top Chef person giving Ben better romantic advice than anyone on the show that is actually about romance? Let's just say, not everybody on The Bachelorette, big shocker, knows what to do or say in relationships.
That is like it is in life.
Yes, it is true. Now we move to the other part of all of this, which is just us talking about how adorable a lot of these families were. We really liked everybody. I mean, there were some really, really great families. Like, okay, I guess let's spend a second here on Ivan, because I've got so many thoughts. Number one, Ivan's father. Can somebody get this guy like a narrator job or something and like a documentary? He's got like the greatest voice of all time.
I loved him, and he felt like he was just filled with a lot of life wisdom. I love the conversation, sort of oh, you've been divorced? Me too. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's not just hide it under the rug. I loved his mom. Her dress was gorgeous. I mean, his brother was great. The family love that's there is, I mean, they were really my favorite family of the night.
I could watch 2 hours of Ivan's brother. I'm all in on Ivan's brother, who referred to this experience of love and The Bachelorette as a righteous endeavor. This man is using vocabulary that everyone else is still stuck on clarity and here for the right reasons. Here is righteous endeavor man to save the day.
Well, that's because I feel like he's not looking at The Bachelorette as that. He's looking at love for his brother as that. And there's just something so genuine about him. I mean, there's something so genuine about Ivan. That whole family just feels like they're very real with each other.
He also said something kind of like loyalty is an action word or something like that. I was just like, this man
is not wrong.
This man is profound. Like,
yeah, he is.
Listen, it's not that JoJo did a bad job or anything, but next time Chris Harrison leaves, can Ivan's brother come in and be the temporary host for this show? I loved his family. I loved all of that.
And I also really like that their sort of little show you where I live kind of thing was them cooking and sort of doing something together. It gives them like a feeling of like, this is what it could be like if we were living together, we were married, or we were sharing a life together. You know, what's it like, you know, having a day, cooking, listening to music, just chatting, having a good time. That's a great date.
It was a really good date, and I think production and the guys, they all did a pretty good job with this. Like, Zach's date was just, yes, you were doing this in probably like 115 degree weather, which is not ideal, but hailing the cab, the
I
cabbie.
loved that. I thought that was so cute. I loved that they had that little sort of cardboard cutout of the car and they were driving around. I thought it was so endearing.
How long do you think that New York pizza was sitting out in the sun? Like this, there's a part of me that's like, oh man, I would have been all in on that. But it's like that pizza may have been there for a while. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm sure craft services took care of everything just fine.
Also, I am big on you have the blueberries with the bagels, so I am Team Tayshia all the way with this.
I've known you 13 years. I've never seen you take a blueberry and put it on. Sure, in the bagel, baked into the bagel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen you ever put cream cheese on and pick up a blueberry and put that on that bagel. You prove me wrong tomorrow. That is what is going down.
We don't have any of these ingredients in the
house. We are
house.
going to the store.
See, this is the thing. You get the blueberry cream cheese, you get the blueberry bagel. You don't need to have the extra blueberry. My point still stands.
No, it doesn't, because that's what she did. She didn't have the blueberry bagel. Yeah, I get that. Blueberry cream cheese, I get that too.
Well,
putting on cream cheese and taking blueberries and putting them on, that's happening tomorrow, yeah.
Not everyone has the full slate of ingredients that they have, that apparently
we will tomorrow.
The world famous Bachelorette bagel bar that they have going on.
And I'm going to take pictures of it for anybody who wants to see. They'll be up at our Instagram tomorrow, Matt and Just TV. So
we really are getting this there. Now, aren't we?
Oh, you thought I was kidding? There's no kidding at this channel.
There's no kidding with bagels, everyone.
That's right.
Well, beyond the bagels, we also got in here. I love Zach's father. Zach's father, he was so, like, kind and thoughtful.
And I really liked Zach's mom, too. You could see how much she loves him and how, like, concerned she was to make sure that, his heart's going to be taken care of, as all moms do care. But there was just such a love there with his parents. Really great.
You want to hear my impression of Zach's father that I've just come up with in the past 2 minutes?
All right.
Now, Tayshia, I grew up in a small town, and I know what it was like back then.
That's pretty good. Yeah, but you also grew up in a small town, so is this a stretch?
I need a red sweater because I need neighbors. Do you want to be my... This man was Mr. Rogers. That's basically what I'm getting at here, is that he just was so wholesome.
Yeah, he was.
That whole... Other than, and here we go, the one questionable family member of the night.
The wild card. The brother who's basically had his own little confessional being like, hey, they need to know if they don't like each other or not, because maybe it won't work out. Way to be positive there, brother. Way to be positive.
Also, at one point he was just like, that's not what I asked. This is not Judge Judy. Like, this is the Bachelorette. You don't need to, like, interrogate Tayshia.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of what makes this show work, which is... don't talk about the other relationships. Everyone who does that goes home. Take your time and actually use your time to get to know each other. That is why, brother, you will never be on this show.
I love that he doesn't have a name. He's just brother.
Because then you're just going to be sitting there talking to the lead being like, what about your relationship with this person? What about this person? I don't like any of these men. What about me? Right?
It's true. It's that thing. Okay, if you're a family member going on hometown dates, there are rules. Number 1, don't try to make it about yourself. Number 2, I'm sure this has happened in the past and we haven't seen it. Don't be the guys like, I own a coffee company. I'm going to try to strategically place my coffee bag in the back of the scene. I know someone has done this.
All right, let's talk about Brendan. I was really happy to see that date with the whole carnival thing and his niece and all that. It was so good. I liked it so much. And I like that it was put together in that ways that Tayshia could sort of get her feet a little bit wet with a part of his family before going into the rest of it. We haven't seen the two of them together, Brendan and Tayshia together, in so long that I was starting to be like, man, is that chemistry still there? Like, I feel like I haven't seen them interact nearly enough, but it was like immediate when they were back together again.
It was great. I really, I just hate that they were first because it's like the hardest to pull back up. But it is sort of like they got to have the fun carnival experience.
Yeah, they did.
They did the whole ring toss thing that didn't require them to spend like $30 trying to get like
the not fun carnival experience.
It's when you spend like the $40 because you're desperate to like win the ring toss to get like the tiny stuffed animal that probably costs like $2 or something. And
I remember you being pretty good at the carnival.
I am
and
good
we
at
had that chocolate covered bacon.
That was the chocolate covered bacon. Underrated. Also, I am very good at the crane game. There was no crane game going on at this carnival.
Yeah, you are very good at that.
They needed more of like, I don't know, that like maybe that one where you all sit down and you do like the horse race that was on like the Amazing Race or something.
I am so good at that game.
I am really good at, okay, there's the basketball where you throw them, but then there's the pseudo basketball where their hoops are like, I don't know, like this much thinner than the ball, so you never are designed to go in.
That's right.
All of this was fun. I thought his niece was really game. I like how she was fine to just kind of do like the groove with the rest of them and like dancing on TV.
Yeah, it was really fun, and she was really fun. I mean, the niece brought a lot to this date.
I like how they had like a secret handshake, and this was clearly not something that they were able to just plan in advance. Like they just had it.
Yeah.
All of that was good, and this is where I sympathize with Tayshia so much. I like all of these guys.
I know.
I like their families. I like how you can sort of picture her with all of them. I don't fault her for having the condition of I'm falling in love with all of these different people at once.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that people don't really talk about with this experience, and I've seen it a lot more with Tayshia this season, is the sort of breaking up with someone and then breaking up with someone else and then breaking up with someone else. We saw it a lot in the last episode of how much that really piles on somebody, where you're hurting someone and then you're hurting someone else and you're hurting another person. It's all happening like one after another, like a punch, punch, punch. Because I saw, people of course are online being like, what is she crying about? She's sending someone home. And I think it's a lot harder to hurt someone that you care about over and then another person and another person, and people don't really talk about that very much. So even just watching her finally get to this point where she sent Ben home, and she's still like, it's a very emotional process for her and for everybody who does this show.
I'm sure it also goes through her mind when she's doing this of, what if this person was the right person for me? And clearly, with Ben, for example, she clearly liked enough about Ben to bring him to this point. And while he may have almost in some way indirectly given her the okay to send him out by not confessing to his feelings, she probably still, in that moment, was like, well, what if we had gotten there and he could have been the right person for me? And it is kind of like that saying goodbye to that what if every single time. That's a lot.
So if Ben had said the magic words, I love you, and he actually opened up, is he still going home?
This is the $1 million question. I'm not going to give a cop-out. I do want to hear from you guys, so let us know.
But that's a cop-out, but we do want to hear from you guys, so in the comments.
I am going to say, and looking at all of it, I'm kind of going back and forth with a couple of people. I think Zach for sure stays. I think that she was willing to get into the fountain with that man. If
I gotta say right now who's winning this show, it is Zach. There is like an undeniable chemistry there.
There's an undeniable chemistry. I think there's a very close connection. I think with Brendan, we just haven't seen a lot of it. To me, and I hate to say it because I love Ivan, I think it's between Ben and Ivan for...
I actually thought it was between Brendan and Ben, but if I have to say, since you've been dancing around it, I'm just going to say it. I think that Ben still would have gone home. I just think that he has gotten to the line too late. The
only thing that gives me a little pause, and I think you're probably right. I think it's probably 80% that Ben ends up going regardless, but she just seemed to be like so like physically into him. Like she talked a lot about it, kind of. And I get it. Look at how muscular this man is. It's because he's doing those charcoal shots or whatever else. But
he is not my type.
Clearly though, he was her type, and like
yes.
she was able to sort of had these reservations about him not opening up, but just that attraction, I think, kept him there. And I don't know if it would have been different if he was more vulnerable. But I think, with what we know, she made the right decision. And I think even if he had opened up a little bit more, I think she would have still made the right decision, because emotionally, I like her better with the other guys.
I really think he just has come too late into where the other guys are already way past this. And by the time you're at hometown dates, I mean, there's got to be an inkling of how you feel. I mean, he's not even really like, I really like you. There's not a lot of that even happening. It's difficult when you're getting to the point of meeting people's families and you still don't know where you stand. And even until like afterwards, you still don't know where you stand, and you're sitting outside with someone. It's just a struggle, man. Like being on that struggle bus for that long, it just wasn't working.
I would have to say, if I'm Tayshia, that I may have had a harder time sending out Riley than sending out Ben, just because with Ben, he was at a further point and he still wasn't able to give her what it was that she needed. I think it was tough. But it's going to be so much tougher now with these three. I don't know where you go. I don't know what you do.
They're all going to the fantasy trailers.
I tried to forget about that.
Listen, you guys are at like a resort, and they've got like the promo where they're going into the fantasy trailer. It's just like, you are at a gorgeous resort. Like, put them in the presidential suites. Like, why is this a thing?
I know Coachella's nearby, but this is not Coachella. This is a resort. Give them something.
Yes.
Give them something nice. I don't know what it is. There has to be at least like 2 rooms you have not showed of this place yet.
I will say it's a very nice looking trailer, and whoever actually decorated it with all the like lights and everything, that's a 10 out of 10 for me. But still, you're at a place that is filled with hundreds of rooms and beds.
This is right. But hey, we're getting next week. We're getting Coachella with the trailer. We're getting Burning Man with whatever Zach and Tayshia are doing with all of that paint.
Yeah.
So let's just turn this over to you guys now. What did you think about this episode? Also, bagels with blueberries. Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Check out our Instagram tomorrow, guys.
How did I get myself into this? Okay, well, if you guys enjoyed this, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we will see you here next time.